Hi, friend. In the last few weeks, I have really started to have this kind of very deeply illuminated experience that I wanted to share with you because it is helping me in ways that I didn't expect that it would. Something that, and I don't know if you have this, but something that I've really realized in the last couple of years is that when I say read something, or if I say I actually say or quote something from a book that I've read, or I see it being said in like out in the world or on a podcast, that I can hear it, but there is a difference when I feel it, and it is like this truth ripple that goes through my body, and I can relate to it in a completely different way. So I've been working very heavily on understanding what is that truth ripple? What is the thing that creates these patterns of worry and anxiety and otherness and all of these fear-based responses that take me into my head where that worry, all of those feelings can perpetuate. And so in the last few weeks, this consciousness coach, Russo, I'll tag her below so you can find out a little bit more about her. She has been incredibly patient with me until we came to this one thing that was so big. And the reason I want to share it is because I immediately was able to put it into action with someone new that I might be dating. And it was very helpful because I was able to take an old pattern that I know the end result, I've done it a million times, and completely change it. So I wanted to show it to you because we talked it out, and while we were talking it out, we turned it into a cycle. So you can't really see it, which might be a good thing because it's like, no, I don't know, check it out. So this was this cycle that I have that I go through, and she called it, which was great, was like, this is my emotional cycle. And it leads me to, and I can feel it in my body, leads me to a place of like, I'm out of here. And that is the tone within my body. It is this push you away, react to everything, I'm out of here response. And it comes completely from my head, and it comes from that fight or flight place. That is full fight or flight. And so just to share it with you, I'm going to be super vulnerable and share this with you, which is my very first point that I come from is, let me show you how great and fun I am. So it's external. Let me show you how amazing I am. The next point is, now show me how worthy I am. So this is helping me when I was like, oh, that goes to show me how worthy I am. From there is, you didn't react the way I wanted you to. So then there's a reaction to it. And then the next one is like, basically like, I can't say the word out loud, but like, if you get it, but basically like, I'm out of here. Let's say that instead, I'm out of here, instead of the other one, which it is. So what I learned is that is my reaction cycle. That is all in my head. It's all in fight or flight. It is even saying it. Oh my God, I can feel it. Like I can see it in my body becomes more staccato. I can feel it in my nervous system. I can feel a shortness of breath. I feel like it's all coming from a place of like my head. And so for me to be able to go into this cycle, I can pull in all the negative I want to, because it is this well-worn path that is a total victim path. So what I want to share with you is when we figured out that me showing someone how great I am to ask them to prove my worthiness. And from there, when it doesn't go my way, my response is like a push away, right? So I don't want to live my life like that. And I'm trying to find ways so that I can soften, so that I can be more coming from my body, from my from my heart. And so then we redid it. So I'm going to see if I can, basically this is one cycle, and then we made another cycle. And that second cycle is a choice roadmap. So I get to come from a place of choice. Now, to be in a place of choice, I have to, and I would say, I want to say most people, I'm going to say me because that's what I know. is that I have to be like deeply in my body to be in a place of choice, because it is a choice from me. So this is what it sounds like. It starts from a place of, I love myself. It goes into, I know I am worthy. From there is, you're doing the best you can. We're doing the best we can. Which then leads to, I see you. Now, saying them out loud feels so easy, but when we were writing them and coming up with them, there was such a different feeling to those, that to figure out what those words were, because we didn't pull that from a book. It wasn't like, oh, well, this is what the normal cycle is. This was like, these are what I need to feel and hear to get me to the place that I want to get to. So all of those 4 points to replace them were what my nervous system needed to be able to be in a place of choice and empowerment. And I don't want to say empowerment. Empowerment's such a word that gets used all the time. It was coming from a place of choice and softness. So once I wrote those out, the 2 things that came to me were, in my emotional cycle, which leads to I'm out of here, my choice roadmap allows for new possibility. And the thing that was so big between the 2 of those are boundaries. Boundaries for me that protect me, and boundaries for the other person. So those 2, understanding this is my normal cycle, and this is the cycle that I want to work on it embodying. This is the cycle that I want to be in, so that I can come from my heart, from choice, from knowing what it is that I want. I'll give you an example of how I use that in this situation. So with this new person, there was a situation that came up that tested this cycle. Let me show you how great I am. I'm like so much fun. Look how great I am. Okay, show me how worthy I am. And that already started to get a little bit bumpy, because what ended up happening was I went to a party. There wasn't a discussion beforehand about who we are with each other. And when I was at the party, I didn't feel like I was being given enough like attention, or even just an acknowledgement that made me feel a sense of probably ultimately being seen, but being able to feel chosen and being made to feel important. And so I went into, you didn't react the way I wanted you to. So my first place was, I'm out of here. And I did that. I physically removed myself from the place, from the space that I was at. And I remembered that I'd made this. And I thought, okay, well, right now I'm in fight or flight. I am in an old pattern that is totally in my body, that I'm like, I'm going to protect myself. Nobody is going to hurt me. I've got this. And even the way it felt from me was like so removed from softness. And so I went and I looked at this and I was like, okay, let me just try this again. Even if it was like playing out, which is what I did, playing out going to the party. And I was like, okay, I love myself. Okay, I walk in and I love myself. If I then walk into, I know I am worthy, how would I respond from, I know I am worthy? And the response was so different. It was more grounded, more empowered, more compassionate, more understanding. And then the choice to leave was from a very different place, which then allowed me to get to, you're doing the best you can. I'm doing the best I can. And then the last one is, I see you. I see you doing your best. And because of that cycle, it gave me access to be able to go back and have that conversation from a place that was soft, was kind, was understanding, was unafraid, was unprotected. Like, I put the shield down. And I say all of this, I know this is really long, but I really want to get to one thing and share it, because it was so big for me in doing this work, is that by going back into that situation, by going through the process of that choice roadmap with boundaries and kindness and open to new possibility, I actually feel like I did some deep healing work for like my little Zoe, and married and so married and so small and so sad Zoe. And so doing this kind of work is helping me now. But what I'm also seeing is that it's helping past versions of myself and helping me be the person that I want to be. And so from this, I was able to say to somebody, which I have never been able to say this, is that I was able to do this because I 100% trusted myself and trusted my worthiness. That is so big to feel those things. So I just wanted to share that because it is not something that I thought was a way to do this, was to recognize what my normal pattern is and then choose another pattern. And that by choosing that other pattern, it pulled me from fight or flight, from my body into a place that was coming from my heart, was more grounded, was more dropped in, and it really came from a deep knowing within my body. So yeah, I just wanted to share that there's like another way to do things, and the ripple effect can be absolutely massive, and maybe in a way that you might not have ever thought. So yeah, I guess that's a lot to be said for journaling. So yeah, maybe just it's funny, I wish I could share a way to do this, but it's really taken me years of working with Rachel and having her guidance and being able to help me to figure out what those are and to then find the opposite. But maybe the one thing I would give as a suggestion is having just 4. It was like, okay, those are my 4 points, and that really helped. So yeah, I hope that helps.